you're a client at an AD and you've been offered one of these watches, is that a buy or is it a pass?
The steel version, I think that'll go for double retail.
Straight into the GMTs.
How limited is this dial? How much of this product is available?
Oyster Perpetual 41, and this is a new reference. This is the 134.
I potentially see this watch being 3x.
This one would be at the top, then the chocolate, and then this. If a dealer's bidding you on this watch.
The amount of 2025 precious metal watches that we're seeing as a business is very, very slim because people aren't prepared to pay and to lose.
So Rolex have really shifted the attention back to those super high price pieces, including new dials, new bracelets. So is the green dial enough to make that an overlist watch?
It's going to be worth...
Today, we're going to discuss the new 2025 Rolex watches and tell you guys how we think they're going to perform in the luxury watch market. I'm here with Stuart from Watch Trader, and we're going to jump straight into it with the brand new Land Dweller.
Let's go for it, Harry.
Okay.
Excited.
So this one is the steel Land Dweller. It's the 40mm. Just so you guys understand, we've got the green side of the board here, which is if it's a buy. And then we've got the red side of the board, which is if it's a pass. So this is
going to be interesting.
Exactly. If you're a client at an AD and you've been offered one of these watches, we'll starting with the Land Dweller. Is that a buy or is it a pass? It's a 40mm watch. It's a whole new design. It's got the honeycomb dial, fluted white gold bezel, and a brand new flat Jubilee bracelet. So firstly, what do you think of the watch, Stuart?
And also the open case back, sapphire case back.
Good point, good point.
You know, when it's got the theme of the oyster quartz, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very much like a 70s integrated bracelet design, but a lot more modern at the same time. I know it's got a new movement in it. It's very slim, and like you say, the open case back. I mean, personally, I think it's a great looking watch.
Definitely a great looking watch, and it comes obviously in the two sizes, 36 and 40mm.
Yeah, I'm going to pull out
We haven't seen any at all in the market, so all of these watches, when we decide if it's going to be a buy or a pass, could potentially be on how many we actually think is going to be in the market over the next few months.
Well, I'm going to pull out the whole range here. So we've got the steel, which comes in at 13,050. That's the 40mm. We've got the 40mm in rose, which is 40,300. We've got the 36mm in rose. This one has a diamond baguette markers on the dial and also the diamond bezel. And then we've got the two platinum models, right? So on the table right now, we've got 40mm, 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 36. Okay. Yeah. I know you can get these ones in 36 as well, but I just didn't want to double up. So,
and I think the one that you don't actually have is probably in my opinion, is going to be one of the hottest ones. And it's going to be the 36mm in rose gold. I think that's going to be a beautiful watch for the ladies.
Just the non-diamond version?
The non-diamond version. Okay. Obviously, the retail price of the TBR is through the roof. It's going to be a special watch. And again, how many of those watches are going to be in the market or sold?
That's interesting that you mentioned that. Which one do you think is going to be the more popular size, the 36 or the 40?
It's going to be the 40 in steel with the white gold bezel, 100%.
This one up here?
Yeah, but I do think the 36mm in rose is going to be a winner.
Right,
totally different.
But you think maybe more for ladies?
Yeah, total different look to anything else in the Rolex range.
Did you notice as well, which is quite, I don't think they do this in anything else, right, is the chapter ring. It's almost three-dimensional, which is, this is the bit just inside the bezel.
There's no rehold with the serial.
Yeah, there's no, well, it doesn't appear to have a rehold, does it? No. It's a different design completely. I know the dial, they have this special lasering technique where they laser etch the honeycomb pattern. Yeah, so
it's a totally different movement, total different look to any other model in the Rolex range, and I really, really want to see this watch in person.
100%. I've seen a few previews of it from people who were at Watches and Wonders. I do really like that they've brought back the concealed clasp as well. For me, it was a shame when that disappeared from the Datejust range in 36 and 40. Well, they never had it in 41, but in 36. And it's back.
A lot sleeker, a lot cleaner.
So in terms of the price point of these, some pretty scary high price points, right? Which ones are going to land on the green side of the board and which ones are going to land?
Should we start at the top?
Yeah.
So the first one's obviously steel, 40mm with the white gold bezel. That's going to be in the green. That's a buy, 1,000,000%.
Yeah. What do you think about the rose gold at 40,300?
Very, very high list price.
Yeah.
But again, I would say if we're talking the first one's out a few months down the line, it's going to be a buy for me.
Now, 36 mil, obviously you've got all the diamonds, but that's a huge RRP, 77,250.
For the TBR bezel.
Do you think that's going to hold its money in the market? Is it going to be like $100,000 watch, or is that actually going to...
It's hard to say. If we can put it on the fence, Harry, we'll put it on the fence. If not, we're going to put it in the red side.
Let's stick it in the red side for now.
But what a showstopper if you've got that watch.
It's a beautiful watch.
Yeah.
I would say, and again, I'm guessing here, but this could be a watch that if you have it in the first 3 months, if you're one of the super VIP clients who can get that watch, is the market price? Are people going to be asking more in the trade for that watch?
Definitely. There's going to be people out there who's looking to buy that watch, at whatever cost.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some that'll sell above the RRP.
Yeah, no, definitely. The first ones will be 100%.
What about the platinum? I mean, personally, I think the platinum with the ice blue, it's a tried and tested combination. I think this is a showstopper. Watch this. It's lovely. Huge difference, though, in price. The diamonds pretty much double the price of the watch.
Yeah. The RRP is less than the Platinum Daytona. So I think, again, first watches out the market will sell for over RRP. The TBR bezel, it's either on the fence or in red. But I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to put it in the red.
And what about the regular?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the green.
Green?
I'm putting it in the green. Price of £54,600. I would definitely say it's a watch that's going to go, if you ask me, probably the first one's going to be around 70,000. The steel version, I think that'll go for double retail. Possibly more, the first one out the door. And the rose gold one, I think, is probably going to sit around the 50k.
Straight into the GMTs. I think these are some of the most exciting new releases, right? So we have a brand new white gold Sprite GMT with the green dial, and this is a brand new dial. This is a ceramic or Cerachrome, as Rolex call it, which I believe...
Rolex first, so a brass base with the ceramic overlay.
What's your opinion on the watch? Do you like it aesthetically?
Yeah, definitely. I do. I've always liked the green and the black, and that bezel. Again, I want to see the watch in person. With a list price of just over £40,000 for me, again, it's going to be a watch. If you're offered it, personally, get it bought.
Get it bought early on, though.
Yes,
maybe in a year's time, we'll see. But
time will tell. Time will tell. But if you want to be one of the first lucky people to have this watch, buy it.
It's a buy. It's a buy. Okay, so we're going to put that in the buy category. Then we've got two existing watches, but with new dials, right? So we've got the rose gold GMT-Master with the Oyster bracelet, and then we've got the yellow gold. This dial here, it's called the Tiger Iron dial. Again, I'm going to read out this. This is a metamorphic rock used by Rolex for the first time on this watch. It's characterized by its complex structure, composed of 3 minerals: tiger's eye, red jasper, and silvery hematite. Okay, obviously I'm an expert in geology. 3 of my favourite rocks. What can I say? Come together in this combination. I think it looks fantastic.
Definitely fantastic. And again, Rolex has 100% knocked it out of the park with something that nobody would think Rolex would do.
Definitely not.
You know, imagine the hours and hours.
Well, I think
planning.
they have to select like the specific parts, to get a good looking dial.
How limited is this dial? How much of this product is available? How hard is it to create? It's a very special dial, and also because you've probably only seen the 1 or 2 watches which they might have on display at Watches and Wonders. How many different variations?
That's correct,
because it's a natural stone.
Well, we see it in the meteorite dials, don't we? Sometimes you get a meteorite dial and you think, wow, that's a good one. But other times, I mean, they're all special, but you get some that are better looking than others.
Definitely.
Which one do you prefer aesthetically? Which one do you think suits the Tiger Iron the best?
Rose.
The rose, okay. Do you think these are going to be a buy if you're offered one because of the rarity?
With the standard root beer, that's been out for numerous years now. So the grey market price, there's a big spread on this watch.
So not that many 2025s come through at the minute because of that, right?
Yeah, it's very difficult.
People know that they're going to take quite a hit on that. So if somebody offered you a regular 2025 rose gold root beer, how much are you kind of offering for something like that at the minute?
You're probably talking low 30s.
Low 30s.
Yeah.
So this is going to cost you
10k more.
10k more.
Over 10k more. First one's out of the door. Yeah, it's difficult to gauge the market on anything like this. But just going from experience, the watch is going to go for over list. To put a figure on it, it could be 55 to 60,000 pound. It will then settle off. But again, that'll just be determined on how money's actually in the market. Again, what we're seeing in the market, a lot of people trading watches and not just buying outright. So this is definitely going to be a watch. I have the rupee. I'm wearing the full gold rupee. I want the new dial. How much is it going to cost to change? That's going to be the question.
Do you think if you have a current rose gold root beer and you took it to Rolex, could you request that dial? Or do you think it wouldn't
Back
be
in
allowed?
the day, that was possible. And depending on where you go and which country you're based in, that may be possible in the UK. I'm probably going to say no.
We're going to say that these are a buy if you get them early doors.
Yeah, so going to the yellow gold one on the Jubilee bracelet, the market price on a plain one is probably around £10,000 less than the current RRP with this dial, which is a lot of money to pay extra for the dial. But again, same as the rose, the first few out the door, maybe a few months down the line, definitely in the green section for me.
Straight into the Daytona.
Let's go for it.
Okay, there was quite a few new Daytonas. Yeah. I'm going to bring out the 3 full precious metal ones to start with, which is the rose gold chocolate. We've got the white gold.
The old favourite chocolate.
Yeah, so we've seen very similar to this before, haven't we, with the rose gold and the white gold, and these are priced at the same amount, 44,200. And then we've got an updated version of the famous John Mayer.
Is there any differences between the blue dial 1-2 references and the 1-1 reference?
You know what? I'm not actually 100% sure. Visually, to me,
no.
It looks the same, even to the little red details around the subdials, which I remember were on the old one.
Obviously, you have with the green because of the subdials.
Yeah, this is a new aesthetic, right?
Yes.
The previous one being green all over.
What's your thoughts on that? Do you I'm talking about, do you prefer...
Aesthetically,
the flat green, plain green, or are you going to go...
I kind of like the John Mayer at the minute, but maybe my mind hasn't
this is a watch,
yet.
Again with the blue, this is a watch that you need to see in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Because the John Mayer green in the sunlight just pops.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Out of these, though, if they were in front of me and somebody was gifting one to me, I would be drawn to this. I've always quite liked the white gold. It's a bit more stealthy, blue dial. Yeah, for me, I think that's great. I really like it. So
you're going to be in the minority, which is good. Which is no problem. There's no problem with that because the majority of people is probably going to choose this.
Oh yeah, I think if you asked the general public, they probably would order it like this. This one would be at the top, then the chocolate, and then this, and this only at the top over the chocolate, just because it's got a bit more hype behind it, right? Like it's got a brand name, the John Mayer. Definitely. Even though this one technically isn't a John Mayer, it's the new.
Let's see. Yeah, let's.
Maybe it'll get a new nickname. Who knows? So in terms of the market, then, where do you see the market value in these watches right now?
So the green potentially could be, wow, it's putting a figure on something like that. It's pretty difficult, but 60 to 80,000. I'm going to put a spread on it.
Yeah. Okay. So for now, if you got offered that at the AD at the minute, that's a winner.
It's a winner.
These two, the problem you might have is that there's older references that look nearly identical. So how does that actually affect the market price of these watches, do you think?
So for the chocolate, if you're in the grey market, for the chocolate, you're probably talking around £5,000 to £10,000 to pick up the older reference. With
Less?
With the same dial.
Okay.
And forget about the previous flat chocolate. So if you were offered this watch at the AD and it was the watch that you wanted, these are the sort of things you need to weigh up. You have the new dial, new release, or you go into the grey market, spend £5,000 to £10,000 less and get the previous gen. If you're talking 12 months down the line, it's probably going to even out a lot more. I think straight out the door, a watch like that's going to be £5,000 to £10,000 over RRP in the market.
Yeah, but that's over RRP in the market though. But do you think if a dealer's bidding you on this watch,
straight out the door, I think it's in and around list.
You're probably going to break even.
I think in and around list. Some dealers might be a lot keener than me on something like that. They might want to pay over to have the first one. Some might be paying under. For that reason, I'm going to leave them in this because I know that this white gold one is less popular than the rose gold, right? Yeah. So for example, the blue, we saw a blue this week, which was pre-owned, a few years old, and it was 35,000. Right. Let's move on to the Oyster Flex models. Right. 3 of the best Daytonas. I think the best Daytonas in my opinion.
the Oyster Flex Meteorite Daytonas, right? They've come back.
If I could choose 3 Daytonas to have as a collection, that would be perfect.
Now, do you think the people who've got the previous references of those are over the moon that they're back? That's the question. Has it affected the market value of the old ones now that these ones are coming out?
I just think you're a very lucky guy if you have the previous.
Well, how much are the previous ones going for? They're like...
So ballpark £70,000 for the rose, and the white gold and the yellow trade's a little bit less.
It's one of these watches, I would be happy in any of those configurations. Every time I see one in person, I think, oh, this might be the best one. But I think the Meteorite just works so well. I guess it's because it's a special dial and it's kind of a neutral colour, so it goes with anything. For me, I mean, I don't even think I need to ask you this one. These have got to be, if you get any of these are all in the buy.
These watches are, going to be circa 100k, 80 to 100k, potentially first ones out the door.
I think they're great looking. Right then, 2 more Oyster Flexes. We've got the brand new turquoise dial, yellow gold, and then we've got the chocolate Oyster Flex as well. Oyster Flexes, from what I know, they do tend to perform really well in the market, don't they? There's a lot of demand for the Oyster Flex.
There's always strong demand for the Oyster Flex, a lot more than for the full bracelet.
But in terms of how much they trade for compared to how much they cost?
Depending on the dial.
Right.
It would depend on the dial. Some trade for in and around this, some trade for over and a lot more than over. If we talk about this one specifically, the chocolate one, which has a list price currently of $33,450, this one is definitely going to trade, in my opinion, over list price. So I think it's going to be somewhere around the price of the current Ghost or the Pikachu, so around the £40,000 mark. If you were to buy that watch in the grey market, I believe the first ones are going to be around 40k.
I mean, that was a miss, wasn't it? When the chocolate dial disappeared out of the range, it was one of the most, if not the most popular dial in Rose. So how much can you actually pick up the previous generation chocolate for?
So it's similar, probably around 35k.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's held its money really well.
It does. It's such an in-demand watch.
Right, okay, this one, the blue turquoise, what do you think of it aesthetically?
Again, I'd like to see the watch, but it's another curveball from Rolex, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
The turquoise, and it's going to be such a. I think that's going to be so difficult to get. If you had a choice, your AD says, listen, Harry, you're going to choose one watch. Which watch is it going to be? You can choose between all 3 of the Meteorite or the turquoise. Which one are you choosing?
I don't even need to think about it. I like the Meteorite. I think this is a watch that if you have a collection and you're looking for something different, you already have all of the superstar Rolex models. A Pepsi, you've got a Hulk, you've got any of the watches with a nickname, you've got a Platinum Day-Date. You're ticking all the boxes and it's like, well, what do I buy next? And they've released this and you think, okay, yeah, that's different. But do I personally like it aesthetically? Maybe it'll grow on me, but I'm not a huge fan straight away. But I do think because it's such a standout watch, it's got that turquoise dial, which has been really popular over the last few years. I do think this is going to be firmly in the overlist category. It's a buy.
I potentially see this watch being 3x.
Wow. You think that'll be a £90,000 watch in the market?
Yeah, the first few months, well, it might even take longer for them to actually hit the market.
Yeah. Right then. Okay, straight into the 1908. This, again, I'm going to read a little extract. So this is the Settimo bracelet, fashioned from 18 karat yellow gold. It exudes refinement and elegance. It gently hugs the shape of the wrist, making it extremely comfortable to wear. Thanks to its links made up of 7 very small, slightly contoured link elements polished on every surface, it also feels particularly lightweight. It's got a special system to attach it to the middle case. The Settimo bracelet is reserved for the 1908 model. It's equipped with a concealed folding crown clasp. It's got a brand new bracelet. You can only buy it on the 1908.
So I think it's going to be one of those watches which, to begin with, has come out in the yellow with the 2 dials, but I presume further down the line is going to come out with potentially in different metals.
I think it's cool that we're seeing a new bracelet from Rolex. I do think it really suits this watch.
Definitely.
I mean, this is nothing like what Rolex has in the rest of its catalogue. It's replaced the Cellini model, the 1908. I think it's a great watch. We saw a platinum one at Watch Trader recently, and I was really impressed with it. In the metal, it's just stunning. Personally, I think it's just as interesting as a Calatrava. Would you choose one of these over a Calatrava?
That's going to be the question, isn't it? That's going to be the question where it's the Rolex would you say, equivalent? So
I guess it depends on what your journey is,
Yeah.
right? If you're trying to get this, or you're trying to get a meteorite and you're building your relationship with Rolex,
no, but there
maybe go for
will be
this.
gents who want to buy this watch and wear this watch, and that's the style
No
that I
doubt.
like.
Do you think the white dial's an older gentleman's watch and the black dial's maybe a younger gent?
No, I think they're both very similar. The 1908 as a model is very limited in production from what we have found, but the number of clients who's looking to buy the watch is also very similar, so that there obviously isn't as many clients looking to buy this watch. You know, they're going to see it at a price point of £30,000, and I think they're going to be picking it up. But I think for the grey market, over time, it's something that's going to be in and around or below list price.
If your only objective is you're buying a watch from Rolex to try and sell on and make a profit, I don't think this is the watch that you're going to be doing it with.
No.
Into the Oyster Perpetuals, right? We have some new colours and a new reference, right?
Yeah, slightly changed model, new references, new dials.
Okay, so
Same colour dials with some changes.
yeah, that's correct. So yeah, a few things have happened. We've seen the Celebration dial has disappeared from the catalogue.
Yeah, but also available at Watch Trader if anybody's interested currently.
We have the Oyster Perpetual 41, and this is a new reference. This is the 134-300. It
Yeah.
used to be the 124.
New
They've-
movement, new longer power reserve.
I don't know if they have changed the movement on this. I think they have made a slimmer clasp and they've slimmed down the case. The case proportions have changed slightly.
Yeah.
The dials are a lacquer dial. So again, they've got that brass plate and then it's 6 layers of lacquer that gives it that amazing finish. And this is the same finish. These dials are going to be similar to like the green Oyster Perpetual, and then the colours that we saw previously, the turquoise, red, yellow, candy pink, that kind of thing, right? I've got the 441s there. I've also got this 36mm, which has
The
a lavender
lavender,
dial.
yeah.
The reason I've got that is because you can't get that in the 41. So to avoid doubling up, we've got the new colours of 41 and the 36 lavender. Now you can still get
Blue,
you can still get the silver.
Oh,
You
in
can
41 you're talking about?
Yeah, in 41
okay.
you can get the silver.
Silver.
In the 36 you can still get the candy pink. You can get the
Turquoise.
turquoise blue. You can get the green, and you can also still get the green in the 41.
Yeah.
So, new colours. We've got pistachio, we've got beige, we've got black, and we've got blue. So the old black and blue that's been discontinued, which had the sunray textured dial. These coming in at 5,650. I mean, the way I understand it, that it's ironic, right? Because the Oyster Perpetual is the entry level Rolex watch.
It's a
but
watch.
It's
a
so
watch,
hard to get.
Yeah, it's so hard to get, but it's a watch for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, all of the sizes.
Well, it would be if you could walk in and buy one, but you can't.
Correct.
So,
But it is a perfect tool. All of the sizes, all of the colours. You know, there's so much choice in the OP range. Always very popular here at Watch Trader. Whatever size it might be, whatever colour it might be. Great watches, you know, with the Celebration now being discontinued. The price of that did go up somewhat, but it's more before the actual discontinuation, because we heard the whispers. Lots of people were trading that watch.
I think Rolex were really clever with what they did before the kind of colours of the OP came out, which was 2020, I want to say.
Okay.
Before that, the Oyster Perpetual didn't have any like hype around it, did it? Like,
No.
It was a watch that had little interest at Rolex, and then
It's all due to the dial.
in the last 5 years, they've really shone a light or drawn the attention back to the Oyster Perpetual. So it's their entry level watch, being the entry level price, but it's so hard to get. And as a result of that, in the market, these still trade above list, right? And I think these new colours, I mean, I particularly like the beige, and I think the pistachio and the beige are going to be big hits. I think the lavender is going to be a strong colour as well. These two, because, I mean, they're nice, but because they're quite similar to the old ones.
So do you think the lavender and the 36 is going to trade for in and around the similar sort of price to the pink and the Tiffany blue, or is it going to trade for more?
I think at the start it's going to trade for the same, if not more, than like, say, a Tiffany blue, just because it's a novelty and there's going to be few of them in the market. I think eventually it'll settle around a similar price to the turquoise and candy pink.
Where we're putting them all?
Well, for me, I just think these are all going to be, I'll let you place those ones, Stu. I think these are all going to be in the buy.
We haven't seen any of these watches so far in the market. I know we're in the same month as Watches and Wonders from the release. Yeah. So again, it's just going to be one of these.
But I think You just have to look at the performance of the ones that have been discontinued in the new colours. Like you've got the yellow. We've got a yellow in at the minute. I think it's up for 12k.
It's gone.
Oh, it's gone already. Yeah.
Gone.
And you know what's funny as well? The yellow. I don't think many people aspire to have a yellow watch, right? But it wasn't a very popular colour at the start.
If you're an OP,
and now there's hardly any of them.
Yeah, they've all been snapped up. If you're an OP fan, you might have one already in your collection. But the same, say for example, you're wearing a 41 or a 36 and you've got one already and you see another one in a dial which you like, you're going to pick it up, you're going to have two.
Yeah. And I think it's funny, like the more wearable colours, like the green, because that's still in production, it's probably the one that everybody asks for at Rolex. So I feel like we see...
The green's the one that we sell the most of. A 36...
But you also see the most of them as well?
Yeah, we see them. We buy and sell the most of the 41mm in the green. Yeah. That's always been the case. It seems to be a lot more difficult to find the 36 in the green, but the green and the 41s are best-selling OP.
You would think there's a lot more people would want to wear that green as a colour, because it is quite subtle, like in lower light.
Yeah.
It's not as loud, but in the sun, it's great, right? Compared to, say, the bright yellow or the bright red. But because of that, I just don't think that many people bought the bright yellow and the bright red at the time, and they've held their value really well.
What options do you have in Rolex in red?
Speaking of red, though, and this is the one that isn't going on the board today, there was a new Lady Datejust 31. It's got like a almost like oxblood deep red like dial. Datejust light and shade, so you've got this.
Yeah, so tremendous looking dial. It's going to be an extortionate RRP without even looking at it.
Yeah, it's £42,400.
There you go. There you go.
So OPs are in the buy.
OPs all buy, all in the green.
And then we saw a new Sky Dweller.
Carrying on with the green theme, we'll have the Sky Dweller with the beautiful green dial.
And this looks to me like the same green that you would have seen in the John Mayer.
Yeah, Rolex do things very cleverly. They know that the green dial watch is going to be a hit, even with the list prices of what they are currently. If they came out with a beige dial or another similar sort of dead dial, the hype's not going to be there. They know the Rolex green colours always sell.
So maybe what could give you an insight? Do you think remember when the rose gold came out with that blue dial, which was a unique blue, you couldn't get it in any other watch? How has that fared, and does that give you any indication of how this watch might perform in the market?
Yeah, so again, if you're looking at that watch, when that watch first came out, everybody's like, wow, it's a beautiful watch, I want that watch. But it has softened.
So how much was the one that we recently had?
46,000 pound pre-owned.
These ones then, okay, you've got the Jubilee, which is 47,900, slightly less on the Oyster, and then you've got the Oyster Flex. Is the dial going to be enough? The Oyster Flex, I know, without the green dial.
Without the green dial, you're talking about 10 to 15,000 pound difference in the market.
So is the green dial enough to make that an overlist watch? For me, I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no.
And then these watches...
We're probably wrong, though, to be honest with you, but...
Well, I would say if it is going to be a watch that, okay, is a dealer going to pay... You buy that for 40,100, and then let's say a dealer buys it off you for 41,000 and tries to sell it for...
It's going to be worth £5,000 to £10,000 over the current dials.
Right. Okay. And then where does that leave the full bracelet models then? Because again...
Do you know what? I'm probably wrong, Harry. It's probably going to go for more, but we'll see. So the two remaining, the Oyster and the Jubilee. Again, if you want to buy a brand new watch, if I was quoting somebody without those dials, for example, the champagne dial, the list price is obviously the same on the Jubilee with a champagne dial. It's going to be in and around the low £40,000 mark. So the difference on the green dial is probably, in my opinion, going to be £10,000 to £20,000 straight out the door. I think it'll sit around the 50k mark, both of them.
Which to me would tell me that you are not going to make money on them. If you're only buying them to try and sell them on, it's going to be a pass.
12 months from now, then that's probably going to be the case.
However...
But short term, it's something that's going to go for
just because of the novelty of it.
Because of the novelty.
And I think... To add a bit of nuance, if you are going to spend that kind of money with an AD and you're looking, say, for a steel Daytona or something that is very difficult to get, then if you know that you're going to get something like that, maybe that's going to be a power move by dropping nearly 50 grand with that, and you're not going to lose too much.
Your spend's going to have to be considerably more than 47,900 to get a steel Daytona. In my opinion.
Well, I don't even know if they would allow you to buy that as your first watch anyway, because regardless of what the market thinks, in Rolex's eyes, this is a brand new, very special watch.
They'll sell. Regardless of what we're saying here today, all three of them watches will go. They'll sell.
I mean, aesthetically, I think they look great. Are there any watches on here right now that you think, okay, within, I'm going to say 6 months.
Okay, so if
would
6
move
months
to
from
this
now.
side.
Okay, 6 months from now, which will move to this side. I'm going to say potentially.
I'm going to say maybe this one. Would you agree?
I'll go with you, but yeah,
Not
I'm leaving everything.
You're leaving everything. Okay, yeah,
I'm
fair
leaving
enough.
everything as is. I think we've done a very good market prediction from now to the next 6 months, Harry. Only time will tell. This is Watch Traders, Harry and Stuart's opinion, so time will tell. Maybe we'll come back and revisit this.
I think one of the insights that you can draw from it is that if you look how many precious metal pieces Rolex have focused on. It's almost like in a time where in the market, the price of precious metal RRP has increased a lot. It's very high. The demand for it, because of that high price, is potentially a bit lower. So Rolex have really shifted the attention back to those super high price pieces by including new dials, new bracelets, new configurations.
Which is good for the market, the pre-owned market. They've brought out all of these different precious metal models, which is going to draw attention to the precious metal market.
Is this Rolex trying to cement their position to say, listen, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, they're not above us, we're on that level?
No, personally, I just think it's to bring the awareness, to shine the spotlight back onto the precious metal watches. To be honest with you, the amount of 2025 precious metal watches that we're seeing as a business is very, very slim because people aren't prepared to pay and to lose. Now, bring out all these different variations, different dials, etc. It brings the hype back to those models.
I totally agree.
Which is great for our business because then in turn it'll also increase the pre-owned values, and that's really what the market needs.
Right, well, Stu, that's brilliant. We'll leave it there. I appreciate your time.
Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. If you don't follow us and you do like this content, please give us a like, share, and subscribe, which is the most important.
Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.